When Emma came back from her girls-only trip to Mexico, I didn't expect her first words to be, "We need to talk." Those 4 words, cold, heavy, flat, cracked something inside me before she even told me what they meant. I had spent the week missing her, counting down days, cooking her favorite pasta for her return. I'd even cleaned the apartment top to bottom. Now she stood there, tan lines on her shoulders, eyes red like she hadn't slept, twisting her wedding ring like it suddenly didn't fit. "Are you okay?" I asked, forcing a small smile. She swallowed. "No, Jake. I'm not." I felt the air in the room thicken. "What happened?" She sat down on the couch, staring at her hands. "Something happened on the trip." That's when everything inside me went silent. No sound, no heartbeat, just a stillness before a storm. "What do you mean? Something happened?" I asked, even though I already knew. Her voice cracked. I slept with someone." The words didn't sound real. They just hung there like smoke. I blinked, unable to process. "You what?" She covered her face, tears spilling through her fingers. "I was drunk and it just happened. It didn't mean anything." Didn't mean anything. That phrase hit harder than the confession itself. Like love, trust, marriage, all those years, meant less than a few blurry hours in a resort bed. "Who?" I demanded, my voice colder than I expected. "I don't even know," she whispered. "He was a friend of one of the girls' boyfriends. I barely remember." I laughed. A hollow, bitter laugh that made her flinch. "So that's what our marriage is worth to you? A night you barely remember?" She reached for me. "Jake, please." I pulled away. "Don't." She cried harder then, but I couldn't feel anything for her anymore. Not sympathy, not love. Just disbelief. After a long silence, she said, "There's more." My chest tightened. "What else could there possibly be, Emma?" She took a shaky breath. "I went to the doctor yesterday, and they said I tested positive for chlamydia." I felt my stomach drop. "You what?" Her voice was barely a whisper. "I might have given it to you." For a moment I just stared at her. Then I walked straight to the bathroom and slammed the door. My reflection in the mirror looked foreign, pale, furious, broken. The next morning I got tested. Positive. That was the day the love I had for her died. The following weeks were a blur of silence and half-hearted apologies. She tried to fix things, therapy sessions, crying fits, long texts at work, but the damage was irreversible. Every time I looked at her, all I saw was betrayal. Every time she touched me, I felt contamination, not comfort. Then, 3 weeks later, she told me she was pregnant. I remember the scene vividly. She was sitting at the kitchen table, hands trembling, pregnancy test beside her. "Jake," she said softly, "I'm late. I took a test. It's positive." I didn't say a word. "I don't know if it's yours," she added, voice cracking. "I'm so sorry." That's when I laughed again, that same cold, hollow laugh. "Of course you don't." She started sobbing, saying she'd do anything to prove she loved me, that she'd make it right. But there was no making it right. Not when a child, possibly someone else's, was growing inside her. That night I slept on the couch. The next day I started planning. I wasn't going to scream or break things. I wasn't going to make a scene. I wanted something quieter, colder, something that would stay with her like what she did to me. I waited for her to think we were healing. For 2 months I played the part of the forgiving husband. I went to therapy, held her hand, cooked dinner again. I even touched her gently, told her I wanted to try. And she believed it. She started smiling again, humming while she cooked, kissing me goodnight. She told her friends we were working things out. That's when I told her I wanted a fresh start. I said, "Let's move somewhere new. New memories. New home. Just us and the baby." Her eyes lit up. She hugged me like I was the same man she married. I found a nice house in a quiet suburb, under my name only. Told her it was temporary until the baby came. She helped me pack, all smiles and soft words. Then came the day I told her I had one condition before we moved. "I want a paternity test," I said, watching her face carefully. She froze. "Jake, please." "Emma," I said firmly. "If we're starting fresh, I need to know." Tears welled up. "You don't trust me?" I looked her dead in the eye. "You gave me an STD, Emma. You cheated on a girls-only trip. What exactly here deserves trust?" She said nothing. A week later we got the results. Not mine. When I opened that envelope, I didn't feel rage or sorrow. Just peace. A cold, numbing peace. That night I cooked dinner. Her favorite, creamy garlic pasta, the same one I'd made before her confession. She came home from work looking tired but hopeful. "Smells amazing," she said softly, touching my shoulder. "Yeah," I said. "Thought we'd celebrate the truth." Her smile faltered. "What truth?" I placed the envelope on the table. "That you've been lying to me for months." Her hands trembled as she opened it. Her face went pale. "Jake." I held up my hand. "No. Don't. You had your chance." Tears streamed down her cheeks. "Please, we can still." I cut her off. "I already sold the apartment." "The new house?" "It's in my name only. You can stay here until tomorrow." She shook her head, panic rising. "You can't just throw me out." "I can," I said quietly. "And I am." I walked to the bedroom, grabbed her packed suitcase, the same one she took to Mexico, and placed it by the door. She broke down completely then, sobbing into her hands. "I made a mistake, Jake. I was scared drunk, stupid. But I love you." I stared at her. "You don't love me. You love the idea of what I gave you. Stability. Trust. Someone who would forgive anything. But that man doesn't exist anymore." She reached for me, but I stepped back. "Go." The next morning she left. No dramatic goodbye, no last-minute begging. Just silence. I watched from the window as she got into a cab, her suitcase bumping over the curb. For a moment a memory flashed. The day we first met at the bookstore, her laugh echoing down the aisles. That girl was gone. And I finally let her go too. 3 months later I got a message from her friend Melissa, one of the girls who'd gone on that Mexico trip. "Jake, I think you should know. Emma lied about a few things. She wasn't drunk. She'd been seeing that guy for a few months before the trip. She told us she was thinking about leaving you." I stared at the message, then simply replied, "Thank you for telling me." She already did. Time has a strange way of dulling pain but sharpening memory. I got treated, moved into the new house, and started rebuilding my life. The silence felt heavy at first, but eventually it became peace. One day a letter arrived. It was from Emma. No return address. Just my name in her familiar handwriting. Inside was a photo, a baby boy with dark hair and blue eyes. "He's not yours, but he has your kindness," she wrote. "I wish I could undo everything. I hope one day you find someone who deserves the kind of love you gave me." I folded the letter, placed it in a drawer, and never opened it again. But here's the thing about betrayal. It doesn't destroy you immediately. It burns slowly, hollowing you out until you rebuild yourself from the ashes. So what did I do next after losing everything I thought mattered? I started again on my terms. I took the money from the apartment sale and launched a small woodworking business. I spent my nights designing furniture, shaping wood, creating something real from broken pieces, something solid, something mine. And every time I carved a new table or smoothed a piece of oak, I thought, this is what love should have been: patient, honest, crafted by hand, not destroyed by impulse. Months later I met someone, a woman named Leah, a customer who came in looking for a dining table. She was gentle, curious, kind, and patient enough not to ask about my past. I didn't tell her everything right away. But one night when we sat under the warm glow of my workshop lights, I finally did. She didn't say anything for a long time. Then she whispered, "I'm sorry that happened to you, but I'm glad it didn't break you." And for the first time in what felt like forever, I believed her. Because sometimes revenge isn't loud or cruel. It's not screaming or cheating back or burning bridges. Sometimes the most epic revenge is peace, building a life so whole, so full, that the person who broke you becomes nothing more than a memory you no longer bleed from. And that's exactly what I did.